On her last day, a terminally ill mom asked her nurse a jaw-dropping question. We've told you about some incredible nurses before, like this nurse who was caught singing a comforting song to patients in hospice, or this nurse who knit tiny superhero costumes for preemie babies. But Pennsylvania nurse Tricia Seaman went above and beyond. When Nurse Seaman was assigned a patient named Tricia Seaman, she thought their meeting would be just another day on the job. She never guessed they would end up sharing a lot more than just their first names. Tricia was dying. She had been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and she openly shared her anxieties and life story with Nurse Seaman. The two became quick friends. Over the course of Tricia's 10-day stay in the hospital, the women became more and more close. Tricia, a single mother, opened up to the nurse about her son, an 8-year-old boy named Wesley, and her fear of leaving him behind all alone. Unfortunately, both of her parents died many years ago. Moreover, she didn't believe any other family members could take on the responsibility of looking after Wesley. Finally, on her last day under Seaman's care, Tricia asked her a jaw-dropping question. "Will you and your husband raise my child?" Initially, Seaman didn't know what to say to such a big request. After all, they'd only met 10 days earlier and didn't know each other well. But Somers just had a gut feeling about the situation. She described the nurse as an angel and felt an instant bond with her. Somers added that as soon as her cancer nurse walked into the room, she felt comforted. Seaman didn't have to say a word for her to feel surrounded by love and support. She called her an angel because she'd never felt that way around anyone before. Somers felt like someone had covered her with a warm blanket, a sign that she was in good hands. However, the nurse didn't say yes to the request immediately. While she genuinely wanted to help, she told Somers she should have time to think it over. Of course, the nurse felt flattered that the terminally ill mom would trust her in caring for Wesley. However, she wanted to take a diplomatic approach and ensure everyone involved would feel comfortable. It seemed like fate that Seaman and Somers met at the hospital. Seaman and her family had recently gone through the process of becoming foster parents. They'd also been approved as adoptive parents and completed the first step in that process, so it seemed the universe was on Somers' side after all. After asking the nurse to adopt her son, the terminally ill mom and Wesley started visiting Seaman's family. At first, the nurse came to Somers' apartment to get to know the pair better. The next step involved inviting Tricia and Wesley to Seaman's house. She wanted to see how they would get along with her husband and 4 children. Besides that, it would help Wesley get acclimated to a new environment. The first time Somers visited the Seaman's home, Tricia made sure to ask her opinion. She wanted to know if everything looked okay and if it lived up to her standards. Thankfully, Somers couldn't have been happier with the house and said everything seemed perfect. Now the only thing left was to get Seaman's husband's approval from Daniel. That evening, she sat down with him and asked him how he felt about adopting Wesley. Surprisingly, he had no reservations about the idea. He told her someone needed to help the terminally ill woman and they were in the best position to do so. Seaman and Somers grew closer while the 45-year-old terminally ill mom underwent chemotherapy. However, the intense treatments made it difficult for Somers to walk, and eventually she couldn't take Wesley to school. Even walking to her car or leaving bed seemed like a monumental task for which she no longer had the energy. When she became too weak to keep up with daily tasks, Somers entered hospice care. But Seaman couldn't bear to watch her beloved friend spend her last days in a hospital, so she decided to bring Wesley and Tricia into her home to make her more comfortable. She told Somers that she wasn't just her nurse any longer, she was family. After inviting her to stay at her home, Somers broke down in tears and wholeheartedly agreed. When Tricia arrived at the Seaman's home, doctors believed she only had 1 more month left to live. However, with proper treatment and healing, Seaman reported that the cancer gradually improved. She even began walking without a cane and could perform basic tasks independently. Before Tricia's death, Seaman and her husband signed adoption papers to become Wesley's legal guardians. That summer, they took Wesley and Somers on a family vacation with their 3 teenage daughters and 10-year-old son. Wesley enjoyed having siblings to hang out with, and Tricia savored every last moment with her new family. On December 7, 2014, Tricia passed away at 45 years old. However, the oncology nurse will never forget her favorite patient. She described her as being larger than life, and luckily, Wesley inherited his mom's fun personality. Somers had such an impact on Seaman's life that she wrote a book about her called God Gave Me You. The kind nurse said even though Tricia passed away, she will always be a part of their lives. Now, Wesley lives with his adoptive parents and 4 siblings and feels grateful for them every day. Wesley may have lost his biological mother, but her spirit lives on through the love for his new family.
If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with someone who may find it interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.